Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, boys and girls, it's that time of the month. It is January monthly review. Now we got a little special things going on in this review. We're going to talk about a contract negotiation. We're going to talk about some parting words from Cassian. Good luck to him in his European career. So without further ado, I am going to address a few things that I'm going to hurt a few people's feelings. First and foremost, the streak. 16 wins in a row. I don't care if it's against Pee-wee hockey team, Bantam hockey team, Midget, Timbit, Sprout, Spike, Tyke, AHL, East Coast Hockey League, KHL, and in between of everything I'm saying that in my head, I'm going, what? If you get it, you get it. Anyways, 16 wins in a row is nothing to even scoff at. Doesn't matter what level you played in the AHL, what teams you played against. It's an NHL record that we are going after. Deal with it, you fucking haters. And honestly, if it doesn't matter unless they win the cup, I'm hearing that a lot lately. Well, it doesn't matter how many wins they get. If they don't win the cup, it's a failure. No, it's not, you dum-dums. You delulus. Honestly, if it didn't matter why we play in the regular season, what is the point of playing 82 games if it doesn't matter? There is a reason why we have regular season stats, playoff stats. Because if it didn't matter, we'd just make them stats. And in that case, Wayne Gretzky would have 5,000 points. And nobody would come close. Wayne Gretzky, you can add an extra 150 goals. Sorry, Ovechkin, you're not even close. Facts are facts, folks. You do not combine regular season and playoffs. So why does the regular season matter for 16 wins? Because it matters, because the regular season matters. Now that we got that bullshit out of the way, we're going to move on to another thing. And one more thing. Yes, I have read, well, the Philadelphia Flyers had a 35-game unbeaten streak. Bullshit, they did. What you're saying when you say the Philadelphia Flyers had a 35-game unbeaten streak is it went from regular season to the playoffs where they ran the table to the start of the next season when they started winning the games in the next season. Lost, I think, their third game of the season, but I digress. They lost their third or fourth game of the season. What I'm saying is you can't go overage. Just like when the regular season ends, you don't continue the season after playoffs. You don't start the season again. You start a new season. So it starts from zeros. It was an impressive streak by the Philadelphia Flyers, one that will be remembered in Philadelphia lore, but it's not an NHL record. Deal with it. Move on. We start on January. Again, this is the January monthly review. Speaking of the Philadelphia Flyers, we start January 2nd against those Flyers to a tuning of a 5-2 victory. Now, as you guys see here, there's blue, there's orange. The blues are my predictions. The oranges are BW's predictions. Again, if you guys want to get in on this on the February one, I'll post a short clip of the February thing I'm saying. I'll post it to TikTok. I'll also post it to Facebook. Leave your comments in the comment section what you guys think the February predictions will be, and we'll feature you. We'll feature you in this. We'll put your name on here. We'll get a little graphic going for you. Make it happen, Gab. So we start in Philadelphia as a 5-2 win for 6 in a row because we ended the month of December on a 5-game heater. We don't remember that, do we? McDavid has a 5-point night. McDavid also has his 900th career point. Skinner with the win. The PK was 4 for 4. The power play could be desired. 1 for 4. Again, we don't know at this point what this team is. Are they good? Are they bad? Or are they indifferent? We're at that point in the year where we're not sure if the Oilers are going to be a good team, bad team, or in the middle. Obviously, the month is over. We know what they are now. But at the beginning of the year, I was questioning At the beginning of January, I was still wondering, is this Jackal, is this Hyde? And if you've watched the live stream, you know I say that a lot. We move on to Saturday's game, January 6th against the Ottawa Senators. Game 2 of their 11-game month of January. Another 3-1 victory. 7 in a row. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Now we're really heating up. Hyman with the hat trick. Skinner with another W. The PK again. Fuego. Perfect. No blemish. 3 for 3. Power play heated up a little bit in this one. 2 of the 3 goals coming on the power play. About time they woke up, at least for one game. We went on to January 9th with the Bedardless Chicago Blackhawks. Should have been a mollywhopping, should have been a lopsided score, should have been some crooked numbers. Instead, you got a 2-1 victory. I believe it was an overtime. 8 in a row. It was ugly, but they don't ask how. They just ask how many. Again, this could have gone one of two ways. It could have been a track meet where the Oilers scored 12, but ended up getting 11 scored on them. Or they could have got beat. They could have been a trap. And Chicago, with a bunch of nobodies from nowheres, could have just went and said, you know what, you're the Edmonton Oilers, you're on this 7-game heater, let's put an end to that right now. Sometimes grit outworks skill, and it was looking that way for the most part of this game against Chicago. Looked like the Chicago grit was just a little bit better than the Edmonton skill. Thankfully, the good guys prevailed in the OT. Ugly. But again, successful. And again, I was asking, Jackal, Hyde, one period to the next, you don't know what you're going to get. With this Oilers team, it's like opening a box of chocolates, as Forrest Gump used to say. You never know what you're going to get. It is this way with the Edmonton Oilers at this point in the season. Again, this is January 6th. Things have changed. We move on to January 11th against the Detroit Red Wings. Another trap game. Another game the Oilers should win on paper. Another game that should not have been close. But as we know, Lyon was the big reason for OT. I have not seen a goalie poke check the poke checker that much since 1995 when Brodeur, Hasek, Van Breesbroek, Felix the Cat Potvin, Cujo, Ed Belfour. I haven't seen that much poke checking since the days of ore, to say the least. A lot of poke checking in that game. I like it. I'm a big fan of aggressive goaltending, and that is what Lyon was giving Detroit that game. Aggressive goaltending, poke checks. Players didn't know what to think. They're like, they're used to just going up into the crease and doing their thing. Nine, says Lyon. He's like, I'm going to poke check the motherfucker out of you. It worked until it didn't in overtime when he poke checked the puck right onto Darnell Nurse's stick. We all know the rest of the story. Again, Oilers win in OT. Picard gets the win. Ties a franchise record with 9 in a row, a franchise record that was held from last year. So, hey, good things are happening in oil country yet again. Say what you want. Records are meant to be broken. Again, PK was perfect, 3 for 3. Power play was 0 for 2. Again, the slumping power play is costing the Oilers some valuable scoring here, valuable ups. Instead of being up 1, they could have been up 2. Instead of being tied, they could have been up 1. The power play is letting this team down in a horrible, horrible manner. We'll touch on that a bit later. Game 5, January 13th in Montreal. Oh, stomping grounds in Montreal. Records are meant to be broken. Montreal has the Canadian record as of right now with 12 wins in a row. Again, we all know that since we're in the end of January, hitting February 1st here, that the Oilers have since broken the Canadian record. But at this point in time, Montreal had it with, I think it was 12 wins in a row. Anyways, this is win number 10 for the Oilers' new franchise record. Better late than never. Why do I say better late than never? Because the Oilers didn't play well for the first period. They didn't play well for the second period. They woke up in the third, and they won her in overtime. Again, Nurse with the OT winner, Skinner with the win. PK again, 3 for 4. This time they let in a blemish. Their only blemish of the month, by the way, but we'll get into that a little bit later as well. Power play again, 1 for 3. Is that 1 for 3 or 1 for 5? 1 for 5, sorry. I can't read my own chicken scratch. 1 for 5. Fucking terrible. Again, I'm asking myself, I was in the hospital January 13th. My wife had a baby. I did nothing. I sat there, and I was moral support. Also on January 13th, if you didn't know by now, you do. It was Connor McDavid's birthday as well. Congratulations to that young man as well. Again, my daughter was born on the 13th. And again, the Oilers start out slow and turn it up. It seems to be the theme of this month of slow starts. Great third periods, but how long can it last for? So we move on to January 16th on a Tuesday. We are back at home. Oh boy, we got the Toronto Maple Leafs. Oh. And say what you will. Say what you will about the Toronto Maple Leafs being a laughing stock of the NHL, a joke, as some would say. Haven't won a cup in our kids' lifetimes, haven't won a cup in our lifetimes, haven't won a cup in some of our dads' lifetimes or our mom's lifetimes. But they have a loyal fan base that is in Western Canada. May it be they immigrated out here to Western Canada because there's no jobs in Ontario. We all know that for a fact. Oil rig money is a lot better than no money at all, you know what I'm saying. So yes, thank you Toronto Maple Leaf fans for coming in droves to the Oilers Maple Leaf game. Your money is greatly appreciated in Edmonton and in Alberta. It helps our economy. It damn sure helps the Edmonton Oilers out. So as people are booing, oh, well, why is the arena 50-50 or 60-40 or 85-25, 75-25? Who cares? They're spending money in Edmonton. That money's not going to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So welcome them. And it just makes it feel better when you beat them at home when you beat them on your home ice and their fans that traveled near and far have to see their team lose. Walk of shame. I like to say that. A big walk of shame for the Toronto Maple Leafs on this night. Oilers needed 4 goals in the third period, though. They needed that rally. I don't like it. It's becoming a trend. They were down 2-0 early. 4 straight goals helped them win the 4-2 hockey game, though. Again, Ekholm, 300 career points. Derek Ryan, 200th career point. Skinner with another win. PK was 1 for 1. Power play was 0 for 1. Both teams got 1 power play and both teams couldn't score on it. All the depth in the world at power play skill, and these teams couldn't get more than 1 together. It was an awesome game to watch. It was what playoff hockey should be. It's going to be a good final. If those two teams meet in the final, ooh, I would pay $1,000 a seat to see that. As we move on to January 18th, game number 7 against Seattle. Again, a 4-1 victory. It wasn't in doubt. It wasn't close. Sorry, 4-2 victory. Again, it wasn't in doubt. It wasn't close. The Oilers did have to come back and score 4 straight goals again. But it's how they do it that makes me surprised that they're even on this win streak sometimes when I look back at it. But that becomes 12 in a row. Ties the Canadian record with wins. Again, Nurse's game 600. Skinner gets the win. Perfect on the penalty kill. 3 for 3. 3 for 5 on the power play. What? Sorry, 5 for 5 on the PK. And 2 for 5 on the power play. Again, power play issues. Yep, got that covered. Power play is not that good, but could get better. Should get better. Again, they have to come back, and you keep asking yourself, how long before the Oilers put themselves in a hole they can't climb out of? Regular YouTube subscriber and a YouTube live stream watcher, SMC, from over in New Zealand put it, it's good that they're coming back, but at what point do they not come back? When are they going to stop putting themselves in holes to try and come out of? I have to agree with him. When will that camel break its back with giving up 2 goals in the first and second periods just to claw back in the third? Like, eventually they're going to give up the 2. It's going to become 3, and they're not going to come back and lose because they're giving up too much, too soon, too often. So we move on to January 20th at Calgary, Hockey Day in Canada. We're going to touch on this a little bit. 13 in a row. We are now the Canadian record holders for wins in a row. Stage 3 is done. 8-0 in Stage 3. Remember how I do the stages? Stage 1, 8 games, 8-0. Stage 2, 8 games, went 5-3. Stage 3, 8 games, 8-0. We are now in Stage 4. We'll touch on that with Columbus, Chicago, Nashville. But, again, Skinner was doing Skinner things. He kept the Oilers in the game early, kept the Oilers in the game often. History was made. Game was never in doubt, but Skinner had to make saves when it was called upon. He also ties the franchise record with 10 wins in a row with Grant Fuhr. Awesome record to be tied with for sure, which he does break the following game. Foreshadowing and such. Again, power play 0 for 2, PK 3 for 3. Nothing really to write home about yet again. They want to call this the Battle of Alberta. They want to call this a rivalry, but guys, the rivalry's dead. Can we all admit that it's not a rivalry anymore? In order for it to be a rivalry, both teams have to be good. And the Flames just aren't. They're not good. They haven't been good for close to 20 years. And when they were good in the late 1990s, early 2000s, the Oilers were shitty. So they dominated the rivalry. It wasn't much of a rivalry then. The last time I can remember this being a rivalry for more than a one playoff series or 1 6-month stretch, 1989, 1990. That's the last time this was a true blue-red rivalry. It hasn't been since then. Due to Flames teams always sucking or being mid. Oilers teams just flat out sucking, not even being mid. And what I mean by the Flames are mid, like they're like, you have a wrestling program, let's put it into perspective of you wrestling fans out there. You've got your opener, you got your mid card, and then you got your main event, bang 'em, punch 'em in the mouth closing card. The Flames are your mid card. They're your match 3 of 5 matches. They're your match 2 and 3 of 5 matches. They're not good enough to be the opener where they suck so bad that they're just getting knives where they're top 5 picks, top 5 draft picks. But they're not good enough to be in the top 5 of the league, top 10 in the league, to get the playoff spot and be dominant and showcase what they got. They're that mid card. Always have been. For as long as I can remember, they always will be just mid. Until the rebuild happens. Not a retool. Not a retool. A rebuild. Hey, rebuild, build a new building. I'm not one of those guys that's Alberta first. I'm going to get that out of the way. I'm not an Alberta fan. I don't cheer for an Alberta team. If the Oilers aren't there, I'm going to cheer for Calgary. If the Eskimos aren't in the playoffs, I'm going to cheer for the Stampeders. I'm from Saskatchewan. I don't have the Alberta pride that some people do. And I get pride for your province. I am Saskatchewan proud, born and bred. If the Rough Riders are playing, it's Rough Rider till I die. Green and white till I die. Green is color. Football is the game. Saskatchewan Rough Riders are our name. I will be the Saskatoon Blades through and through. If the Blades are playing the Red Deer Rebels, the Edmonton Oil Kings, the Calgary Hitmen, the Lethbridge Hurricanes, the Medicine Hat Tigers, I am a Blades fan, true and true. Again, I don't have that love for Alberta. I am living in Alberta. I'm proud to call Alberta home. But if it's not the Oilers, it's nobody. That's just the way it is for me. Other people have one or two teams they cheer for. I'm Oilers. I'm Oilers bleed it, man. I bleed the Oilers till I die. I don't have a secondary team. I'm also not one of those people that is, well, if there's 2 Canadian teams left, Canadian over everybody. Not really. I just stopped paying attention. Best team win the playoffs. If my team isn't in the playoffs or my team gets knocked out of the playoffs, may the best team win. That's not my team. Whoever makes it to the final, just get it over with so we can do the off-season stuff, so we can get into the off-season trades and signings and development and start the season in October. I'm not a Canada, it's only Canadian team. I am for the Toronto Blue Jays, the Toronto Raptors, because they're the only teams in Canada for their respective sports. So, again, rivalry's dead for the Calgary Flames. Sorry, folks, if that hurts your feelings. We no longer have a rivalry with them until they get better or until we get worse. Moving on to Game 9, January 23rd, Columbus was in town, and boy, they got the thump-a-wumpin'. A thump-a-wumpin'. Another game, another win. It's like I don't know what more can be said. Like, it was never in doubt, guys. Skinner got the win, breaks the franchise record for 11 wins in a row. Oilers are now 14 wins in a row. It was brutal for Columbus. Like, they didn't have anybody. They didn't have anything. Oilers, that game was never in doubt. We now know that there's no more Jackal, there's no more Hyde. This team is better defensively. They've bought into whatever system Paul Coffey, Gullickson, and Knobloch have put in place. Whatever system is working, it's working. We move on to Game 10 of the 11-game schedule. January 25th against the Chicago Blackhawks. Yet again, no Bedard. This time it's in Edmonton. Picard gets his 100th career start. First career shutout with the Edmonton Oilers. 5th career shutout all time. We also got 600 subs that day. Thank you guys for the 600 subs. Without you guys being awesome, the moderators beat W, Kevin, Dan, Chemo, Stephanie. I could name more if I could remember the names. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. But honestly, without you guys and the moderators and just the people that come and watch on a daily basis, without you guys, there is no me. So I greatly appreciate the 600 subs. Since then, we have pushed almost to 700. Hey, guys, you guys are amazing. Every single one of you is. You're amazing. PK, again, didn't really have to play. They didn't get a penalty. They got 1-for-1 on the power play. Gagne becomes the only player in NHL history to have 2 15-game winning streaks. The last time he did it was with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Imagine that. Game 11 is an interesting game of the month. January 27th against the Nashville Predators. 16 wins in a row. Sweet 16. A lot of playing La Bamba, baby. A lot of screaming. I was at this game. It was significant for a few things. Corey Perry, if you didn't know, signed with the Edmonton Oilers on Monday the 22nd. Did not play the 23rd. Did not play the 25th. He suited up on the 27th. First game in the Oilers uniform. He looked great from puck drop to end of whistle, game over. He did not take a shift off. How do I know? Because I was diligently looking at every shift he had. I knew where he was on the bench. I knew when he jumped over, what line he was with, what line mates he had, how hard he was skating up and down the ice, what he was doing when the puck wasn't near him. Was he just lackadaisical skating like it didn't matter just to go do his cardio? Or was he in the play? Was he engaged? Engaged all the way, start to finish. Now, Draisaitl also got his 800th career point. Skinner with the win. Another impressive win. Now they are one away from tying history and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yes, they have a 9-day break. They are at the All-Star break. Edmonton Oilers' official record is now 29-15-1. Month of January, they were 11-0. Who called 11-0 in the December preview? In the January preview video? It is guided. Go check it out. Go check the January preview video. I said they were going to go 11-0. Check out the February preview coming out in a couple days. You might be surprised at my predictions for that one as well. Again, Stage 4 started. Columbus, Chicago, Nashville. Tick, 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 tick. They got 3 down, 5 to go. Vegas, Anaheim, LA, Detroit, St. Louis. How far does this winning streak go? Does it go Vegas? Does it go Anaheim? Does it get past LA? Nobody knows. Stay tuned and find out. Power play on the month was 10 for 29, 34%. Doesn't look good, but in the grand scheme of how power plays work, that's actually a really good number, 34%. That's a pretty good clip. The PK, on the other hand, 32 out of 33 PKs killed for a 97%. 97 percentile. That's a damn good PK. Again, BW had his 3 stars. Holloway was his first star to look out to watch. Well, player to watch, can't say stars, so players to watch. Holloway, 4 games played, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points, a +1. Fogle had 11 games played, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points, +5. Fogle definitely got lifted up by playing on Draisaitl's line. I was skeptical at first when I seen that it was going to be Fogle, Draisaitl, and pick a winger. But I like it. I like Fogle and Draisaitl. They work well together. Kulak was his 3rd guy to watch. 11 games played, 0 goals, 1 assist, 1 point, but was a +3. You can't go wrong when your 3rd-line defenseman is a plus defenseman. My players to watch were Skinner, 9 games played, 9 wins, 254 shots against, 242 saves for a .953 save percentage. Not too fucking shabby. CC was my 2nd guy, was my defenseman to watch. 11 games played, 0 goals, 4 assists, 4 points, a +2. Now the disappointment in my pick was Gagne. 4 games played, 1 goal, 0 assists, 1 point, and was a -1. Gagne was up, Gagne was down, Gagne was good, Gagne was bad. It's what you expect from a player that's just happy to be here. He was noticeable some nights, invisible the others. Looked good some shifts, didn't look so great on the others. He gave the puck away on a few goals against. It happens, he's human. The Oilers still won games. Again, where you see here, BW had the Oilers losing to Philadelphia, beating Ottawa, losing to Chicago, beating Detroit, beating Montreal, losing to Toronto, beating Seattle, beating Calgary, beating Columbus, Chicago, and Nashville. I had the Oilers running the board. I just had a feeling that just the way the schedule worked out, they had no back-to-backs. They had a lot of off days in between. They had a weaker schedule, and I don't care for all you people. Yeah, they had a weak schedule. So fucking what? Vancouver had the easiest schedule than this. Vancouver had a schedule where they played 3 playoff teams in 13 games. Where was their 13-win streak? Where was their 9-game win streak? Where was their 8-game win streak? Didn't happen. So don't want to hear any more about, oh, well, ease of schedule. Vancouver had an ease of schedule, too, and they didn't win these games. So we're going to talk about something else here. We're going to talk about a contract negotiation. Like I said, I think it votes well that we do have this conversation because the Oilers aren't going to have it. The Oilers will not have this conversation with Leon Draisaitl until the offseason. So during the offseason, the Oilers Dang it. No. Sorry, that's not professional of me. So the offseason, the Oilers have a decision to make. And it involves Leon Draisaitl, of all people. And I'm going to show you what my thought process is on the negotiations. And I know I could be way out to left field, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to move out of the way here. You're going to see here that I have on the draft board here that Draisaitl could do one of three things. One of two things, sir. He can sign his 8-year deal. 8 years when his contract expires, and he could go into his 8 years, get $15 million per year, and be happy with it. Or what I think he could do, and what I think he should do, and me being an Oiler fan, I think this would benefit the Oilers and him. Sign 4 years at 13 per year. So what does that do? Well, I'll tell you. So say he signs 13 million times 4. That's $52 million. Gets him till he's 32 years old. $32 All right, cool. Now you're 32. You just signed a 4-year deal. You got $52 million. You made 13 per year. You're making 8.5 now. Now you made 13.2, which means that you left meat on the bone for your running partner, Connor McDavid. You left meat on the bone for your running partner, Connor McDavid, to make his 15. Because he's going to get paid 15 in 2 years, in 4 years, or whatever it is. His contract is up. I think it's 2 years after Leon's. So you sign for 13. He signs for 15, and he does the same thing you do. 15 times 4. He makes $60 million for 4 years. It takes him till he's 32. See where I'm going with this? Or 33. You see where I'm going with this? And then you sign your 8-year deal by then, and let's hope by the end of his 4-year contract, Draisaitl's 4-year contract, the salary cap is up over $100 million. Let's say for shites and giggles that the salary cap is at $115 million. Okay? Draisaitl wants an 8-year deal. Okay, Draisaitl, you want an 8-year deal? Tell me the number you want for 8 years. You want $19 million times 8, $152 million over 8 years. Done deal. Signed. That's negotiation. That's how I would play it out if I was Leon Draisaitl's agent. Why sign one big contract now when I'm 20-something? When I can sign a little contract, when I can sign a 4-year contract, and then when I'm 32 and still putting up massive amount of points, massive amount of numbers, and maybe have 1 or 2 cups, maybe 1, 2, 3 cups behind it. If I've got the ring and I've got the stats, now I got the negotiation business by the balls. Now I got the fuck you type of negotiation skills I need to say, hey, Oilers, I signed that sweet little 4-year deal for you. Here's my offer. I want 19 for 8. Are the Oilers going to sign that contract? Absolutely. And if they don't, that's where he goes and says, hey, Colorado, hey, Vegas, hey, Detroit, hey, LA, hey, Toronto, I'll sign 7. You pay me 19 for 7 years. That's still $133 million. Obviously, the Oilers are the only teams that can give him 8 years due to the contract negotiations and whatnot. But If the Oilers are not willing to give him 8 at 19, a team is willing to sign him 7 at 19. Or if they can get away with it, they can give him the 8 at 19. Somebody out there is going to pay Leon Draisaitl, 32 years old, 8 years at $19 million if the cap goes up to what I think it's going to go up to. Now, if it doesn't, then yeah, you're playing a little bit of cat and mouse with this 4-year contract. I get it. It's risk-reward. You don't know in 4 years also. Leon Draisaitl could be hurt. He could be numbers dropping at 32. We don't know. Cat's cradle type business. But that's why I think it's best for the Oilers and best for Leon to sign a nice little gap of 4 years. $13 million for 4 years. That's still a pretty damn good payday. And then when you're 32, you sign that contract. Just my thoughts. Just my 2 cents. I'm a little bit crazy. I think outside the box. I'm not a conventional thinker by any means of the imagination. But I will leave you with this, Oiler fans. Kassian recently was interviewed, and he wanted to say this. Ken Holland was always great to me. He gave me my contract that made my life off the ice that much better. He's a great general manager and a human being. He had a great dialogue with the cap situation, cap struggle. You had to think with the way I played the last year in Edmonton, I was going to be the odd man out. Yes, after COVID, there was a different Zach Kassian. He lost his edge. He lost his snarl. Something was missing with Zach Kassian. There was just a Krudika type thing missing. And I'm not a fan that he lost that. I really wish he wouldn't have lost it. But he did. And he, to this day, is now headed overseas to play hockey. I wish him nothing but the best. I will remember Zach Kassian very fondly. It was tough. A lot of friends I still talk to weekly. 2 of my kids were born in Edmonton. He still wishes he... This is the line, like one of these lines here, I will get to and I will address it. I get choked up reading this because it's just a guy that should have stayed in Edmonton. 2 of my kids are born there, so you're there for 8 years, and it definitely hits home. It hits home once you're gone. You realize how good you had it once you're gone. Let me rephrase that. You realize how good you had it once you're gone. You know what he's doing there? And I'll continue the rest. He's telling current Oilers, you don't know how good this A, organization is, B, how great these fans are, C, how great this city is, until you leave and you realize the grass is not greener on the other side. That's what gets me choked up about this Zach Kassian situation, is he says he wishes he could have stayed in Edmonton. If the Oilers are planning on tuning in and watching the game, seeing what they are doing night-to-night basis, it's pretty special. I loved playing in Edmonton. I love the guys there. But like a good friend once told me, it's better to be overpaid than underpaid. So that gets me sleeping at night at least, but ultimately I would have liked to live up to the contract a little more than I did for sure. I will always cherish my time in Edmonton. To the fans, players, coaches. It was truly my best time in the NHL. Now, I don't know who said to him it's always better to be overpaid than underpaid. Obviously, somebody that cares more about money than winning. Had Zach Kassian gone back and rethought that, I think he would have been glad to take the pay cut. To be an Oiler, to be here now, living what it's like to be doing what they're doing, to have that. Just in my personal opinion, I honestly think that those statements, he's trying to tell the Draisaitl's, the McDavids, the Zach Hymans, the Ekholms, the Skinners, Nurses, the Bouchards. Guys, what you have there is special. What that organization has, it's top notch. It doesn't get any better than that. So anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Oh, before I let you go, I'm going to do the standings because, that's kind of a good thing. I have both the Eastern Conference standings in purple, the Western Conference standings in green. Boston, Florida, Rangers, Carolina, Tampa, Pittsburgh, Toronto, Detroit, Islanders are your top teams contending for playoff spots. Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Washington, Buffalo, Montreal, Ottawa, Columbus. Ain't happening. Be sellers at the trade deadline. See you next year. In the West, it's not so simple. We got Vancouver, Colorado, Dallas, Winnipeg, Vegas, Edmonton, LA, St. Louis, Nashville, Seattle, and Arizona. Those teams are all contending for a playoff spot. As for Calgary, Minnesota, Anaheim, San Jose, and Chicago, see you next year. Be sellers at the trade deadline. I kind of wish this team right here would be a seller at the trade deadline. They have interesting players I'm looking at. I wish these guys were trade deadline sellers, as well as Seattle. They got some good defensive players I'd like the Oilers to take peeks at. They've also got goaltending, which goaltending doesn't seem to be an issue in Edmonton anymore, so I don't know if we're going to beat that drum anytime soon. Again, my name is Matt for Oilers After Dark. Thank you for sticking to the end. Appreciate everything that you guys do. We are back live on the 6th of January when the Oilers are in Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. The voice from heaven just said February because I said January. So yes, the 6th of February. Not January, February. The 6th of February when we take on the Golden Knights in Vegas, going for a tie of record. Can they do it? Can they continue to go undefeated in the year 2024? Anyways, guys, my name is Matt. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Is this team who we think they are finally? Or is this something that too will pass? Till next time, I'm out. Be well.